it's hard for us to advertise knives, right? We get shadow banned. Not just that, but like the meta ads we try to run. We're not a normal company where we can run ads.
Meta, what are you doing? It's a knife. It's not a box of plutonium.
Right.
It's a tool, and it's a tool that helped build this country, frankly.
Well, look at what you can find on social media. I mean,
as long as I'm on my soapbox, I'm currently featured in 5 promotional campaigns on Facebook. None of them are sanctioned. Mm-hmm. It's all AI. So these nefarious pricks and God knows what little backwater somewhere with a laptop in a basement have created.
Yeah.
It's diabolical. They're defrauding, never mind DeWalt or Yeti or like 5 big brands. They're all with me.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm all in these things out there.
Right.
With some bullshit invitation to enter a sweepstakes.
Yep.
And these guys get your information, and then all kinds of mischief unfolds. So, like, I don't mean to pick on Facebook. I got 6.5 million reasons on Facebook not to start trouble. But it's not just my fans, and it's not just Yeti's fans. It's Facebook's customers.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, and it's something I need to say. Like, if because of this podcast you want to come check out our website or you want to buy one of our knives, be very careful, because now this is another problem that I'm having with our government right now, is they're not protecting the American businesses well enough and consumers against China.
The IP. And
there are over 4,000 fake Montana knife company that we can find right now, websites carrying Montana Knife Company knives with our branding, our logo, fake knives that are being made in China. One of the worst has traditionally, we keep after them with our lawyers, but has been Temu.
Yeah.
Our knives have been littered on Temu, and it'll be interesting to see after this drops if we sent them a letter here just a couple weeks ago, so hopefully they're down. But name the site. They're all over the place. You just start Googling them. If it's not on our website, because we don't allow our knives to be sold on any other website, period. But they're everywhere, and we get them in to get people get them, and they send them to us saying, "Hey, I got this knife from you guys, and it's not sharp," and we have to write back and say that's not our knife.
So people understand, all your knives come with essentially a lifetime warranty. Like you'll sharpen those things
for free
for the end of time.
Yep.
So somebody buys a Montana knife because it's labeled Montana knife. It's your logo.
Yep. It's
your model. It's your make. Everything looks legit, but it's not off your site. And they get it, and it doesn't hold the edge. Mm-hmm. They send it to you, and you have to tell them, I didn't make this knife, brother.
Right. You got robbed. It hurts. It takes dollars. Those people intended to buy a knife from us, so it takes dollars out of the manufacturer's pocket, and it also robs dollars from the American consumer. It's a double whammy. And where is our government on that? That should be an easy bipartisan, hey Temu, hey whoever else, Alibaba, we are going to absolutely slam you guys for this. If you want to grow American manufacturing, you have to protect the manufacturers and the consumer. And I don't understand how that's not 100-0 vote in the Senate.
I don't know what to tell you, brother. I got slapped pretty hard 4 years ago for sharing a story that suggested that Hunter Biden's laptop may, in fact, be a smoking gun. I didn't do it to grind a political axe. I did it because that was a giant story, and it was very consequential. They have the power to knock that down.
Yeah.
Surely we have the power to keep this kind of thing from happening. There's a friend of this podcast, a guy called Arthur Lee. Mm-hmm. You probably don't know him, but I bet you've seen his product. He made a thing a few years ago called LifeVac. And a LifeVac is a device. If your kid, or really an adult, anybody starts to choke, you just put this on their mouth and you squeeze the thing, and it essentially pulls the blockage.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
He came on here. How many lives had this thing saved, Chuck?
22, based upon somebody who either listened to the podcast or someone they know listened to the podcast and bought one.
Just our audience.
Yeah, 22
That's
people.
amazing.
He saved over 5,000 lives.
Yeah.
Now, China is ripping them off like crazy.
Instantly.
Now, the problem here There is a corollary. It's not just that the knife doesn't hold the blade. It's not just, oh, that's disappointing. This freaking thing doesn't work.
Right.
And your kid has 60 seconds, and now you can't. I mean, so I don't understand why this isn't DEFCON, what is it, 1 or 5? What's the bad one?
Yeah.
Look into that.
We'll
show.
go with 5. 5 sounds bigger.
5 sounds bigger, but DEFCON 1 might be the bad one. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, all hands on deck.
Yeah.
It's not just mischief, and I'm afraid that if it keeps going like this, and honestly, I'm not really afraid of this, but I think the only way through is for the default position, for the average person to assume that whatever they're seeing is a lie.
Yeah.
And until we get there, the social media companies are going to continue to profit from these very scams because it's advertising and they're making money. So until people just look around and go, you know what, what's the point in advertising?
Right.
I raise money for my foundation every day with videos like these.
Yeah.
And these bums are taking name and likeness from those scholarship videos and using them.
Yep.
Right? So, yeah, boo-hoo, poor Mike, whatever. I'll be fine. But the bottom's liable to fall out of the whole thing. And if the public loses their trust in that, Michael Gamez had a knack for fixing things and wanted to be an automotive technician. So he applied for a work ethic scholarship from MicroWorks. Well, today, Michael Gamez is living his best life. He's got himself an AI-proof, 6-figure job doing something he loves. More importantly, he's got the security he needs to start the family he always dreamed of having. Be like Michael Gamez. Skip the debt. Learn a skill that's in demand. Apply for a work ethic scholarship today at microworks.org.
That is where, I'm generally kind of a limited government guy, but that is where government, that's their role, is to protect the American citizen, whether it's national defense or through commerce policy like this. You have to protect, again, the American consumer. And it makes it incredibly hard when you're borrowing money to build buildings and to hire people to get on the internet and see 4,000 fake websites.
All selling your thing.
Your product. Exactly.
That's a DEFCON 1 situation. That's the worst.
That's the worst, right?
Yeah.
It's all backwards, right? It does feel like 5 ought to be city on fire kind of thing.
But look at golf. It's like if you get the highest score, you've lost.
It will be interesting, like when we launch our folder, to see how fast they've copied it. I mean, I got to hand it to China. Like, they have gotten, it took them a few years before we ever saw our first one. It was really just probably at the beginning of last year that we saw our first fake. At first, it was like, oh, we've made it. There's a fake. It was kind of like, hey, we're starting to become a real company. China's faking us. And then it was 6 months later, and it was thousands of knives. And it was like, oh, this is a problem.
It's a problem, man.
Yeah. And if they're doing it, let's face it, Montana Knife Company is not on the national scale really a household name. We would love to be someday. But if they're doing that to us, just imagine the suction and the drag on our economy that they're having. If they're doing that to small little Montana Knife Company, what is that to, all these big brands, not to mention all the mom and pop brands out there?
It's unspeakable in its implications and its ramifications. I mean, every supply chain that I know of is tied in to this to some degree. But I mean, obviously during COVID, we're looking at our medical supply. We're looking at our antibiotics and so.
And you're right there. The same. I've heard my buddies who were in the medical field talking about tourniquets. These cheap Chinese tourniquets.
Yep.
And there again, it's just like with your friends.
LifeVac.
LifeVac. Like you say, at the end of the day, a knife, whatever, right? But a tourniquet, that's in a life-saving moment that if that fails because you bought a cheap one off of Alibaba and you thought the $19 product was as good as the $50 product, somebody dies.
Like, we're going down the hierarchy of consequential bad acts, and there's not a lot of distance between what you're talking about and the fact that, I don't know, like every 2,000 or 3,000 Adderall tablets might have a little fentanyl in there, right? It might have a little bit in there. Like, what would we do if the announcement was, listen, Your favorite brand of beer is still available. It's just that every 1,000 bottles or so is filled with poison.
Somebody's going to die.
Yeah. So how we just lay out, it's 1 in 1,000. The odds are still with you. Enjoy that Adderall and wash it down with a Heineken and hope for the best.
Exactly.
It has to stop. And in the same way, trust in every major public institution has eroded. Just the basic, can I even believe what I'm looking at?
I mean, let's face it, with AI, and especially with you who makes a living off of your voice and face. I mean, they've gotten so much better at that even in just the last 6 months. Imagine how good they're going to be in 2 years at that.
Who's pissed off, and I've been meaning to reach out, is Morgan Freeman.
Oh, really?
He's as angry as I am, probably angrier. His, what do they call it? NIL, name, image, likeness, right? That's really all you have to sell if you're in this line of work.
Right.
And it can all be co-opted in so many ways. It's been a very weird day for me because the person here before you made a very persuasive case that AI is the best hope we have of saving our education system as it exists. Far and away the best hope.
Yeah.
And I'm persuaded. I think she's right.
And I'll tell you, we are doing right now fully integrating, trying to fully integrate AI into what we do. I mean, I talked to a very interesting person that found me through your podcast the first time in 2024. He reached out to me. He is one of the top AI engineers at Google. I'll share his name with you off of this, but he reached out because he believes in the American manufacturing story, and he thinks AI can play a really great part in that, and offered to basically help us. Even as we start to integrate AI into what we do, help us even potentially build like AI systems for our manufacturing floor.
Don't leave here without giving me that name. Or Chuck. I just spoke at Google's AI conference a week ago.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is 18 months ago. Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you, man, if they haven't fired him yet, he was there. I mean, these guys are all paying attention, and people should know this too. I haven't made a big deal of it here yet, but I mentioned it to you when we spoke. Everybody's looking at manufacturing and skilled trades with one eye, and with the other, they're looking at AI. And they're coming together in ways that I didn't predict.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to get to an existential splat period with the skills gap, but I didn't know that it was going to be AI that accelerated it or made electricians or linemen.
Yeah.
The Lineman College advertises on this podcast now all the time.
Power and water, frankly, are going to be our two biggest issues as a nation. Power is quickly outrunning the water. The water issues, I think, in 20 years is going to be a big one. You just fly into here and look down and go, that doesn't work forever.
Yeah.
Power as a lineman. And let's face it, I don't want a new power line going through my backyard. Yeah. Right? Nobody wants, if you buy a ranch in Wyoming, you don't want a power line running through your new ranch.
Honey, they're putting in a data center.
Nobody wants that. But we have to have an upgrade to our infrastructure in a big way.
We must.
And so the power issue with these data centers and whatnot is going to be, it's becoming a real problem. But with the AI technology, you can be a doomsdayer, and I compared a lot to social media. There's a lot of bad about social media, and there's a lot of lives that social media ruined. Montana Knife Company grew to 120 employees in 5 years because the world is tiny because of social media.
And MicroWorks is going to give away $10 million this year because of Facebook.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it without Facebook.
Yeah. And we were just talking about Meta and Facebook, and two things can be true. Meta and Facebook could be better and allow us to advertise and push the word out better, but at the same time, it makes the world so small. When I started making knives as an 11-year-old in 1992, you had to get lucky to get an article in a magazine, or you had to go to a trade show, to a gun show. There was no way to get seen. And now you can take a picture and 1 million people can see it. And it is what makes it possible to be in Webo County in Montana. Did you know there is a and this is another big concern, I bounce all over here, but there's a consolidating of, I wouldn't say necessarily power, but wealth. It's consolidating into these cities, and Montana's an example of There's 5 or 6 towns, cities in Montana that are growing. Did you know in like 4 counties in eastern Montana, there hasn't been a single business application put in like 2.5 years for a new business? These towns are shrinking. They're completely dying. And what I'm trying to get across is you don't have to be in these big areas to succeed. You can start a business from your garage like we did and use the power of social media and Shopify and, you know, AI. And that's the thing, back to AI. You can be in tiny town Montana and have an AI assistant and AI help you write contracts, and you can be a guy
Build a website.
starting to build a business while you're also working for the rancher down the road.
We're not the first to make the point, but it's worth repeating because big brains, big think tanks are wrestling with ways to save small town America. And the tool we're talking about right now, in the same way I think it can save education, to your point, I think it can just be transformational. It's mind-boggling how hard our government and our media make it. When you look around at the list of things that ought to be encouraged and you see the way they're being affirmatively discouraged.
Yeah.
If you like what you heard,
And even if you don't,
won't you please,
pretty please,
subscribe?
Well, I hate to beg and I hate to plead, but please, pretty freaking please, please please subscribe.